Hi friends, I am Sitanshu from Lift from Upliftment. Let's discuss an important topic, an interesting topic which rules the world of electricity. A very famous, very common Ohm's law. What does it states? It states that under constant temperature, current inside a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference. Let's see these quantities current and potential difference. As we all know, inside a conductor there are these atoms of the conductor and it has some outer orbital electrons, and it is due to flow of these outer orbital electrons there is generation of current inside the conductor. But interestingly, current electrons are discovered much after the discovery of electricity. Since then, people used to believe that the current inside a conductor is due to the flow of some positive charges. So, by convention, they denoted that the direction of positive charge as a direction of current, and by default, electrons or the direction of movements of electron became opposite to the direction of electricity. But we know the fact that electricity is due to the flow of electrons only in case of conductors. So it is this flow of the outer loosely bound electrons which constitute electricity. And if you, most of you may be familiar with a term known as drift velocity. It's the velocity with which the electrons move inside the conductor, move inside the whole circuit. And it is found out that the value of this drift velocity is around the range of millimeter per second, 1 millimeter per second for example. So let me ask you one question at this point of time. If the drift velocity is around 1 millimeter per second, then how does the bulb turns on instantaneously as is on the switch? How does any appliance switches on within fraction of second, like with the speed of light? Think about it and say me and answer at the end. I'll answer it at the end of this lecture. Okay. The second quantity is potential. What do we mean by potential? Again, if you see this conductor, the electrons don't move on their own. Frankly speaking, the electrons move, but they move in some random direction with some random velocity, which results in the net velocity of around 0. So there should be some driving force which makes these electrons to move in a particular direction, resulting in some particular velocity. And this work is done by the external cell or the external battery. This is which provides the term called as potential. Basically what it does, it provides a driving force or a pushing force to these electrons, which again turns in electricity, which results in the generation of electricity. So how do we define potential? We define potential as the work done per unit charge to move it in a circuit from one point to another. So this is what we describe potential, and this is how we describe current. So in 1827, Sir George Simon Ohm conducted serial experiments, and he came into conclusion that the current inside a conductor, the current going inside a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied to its ends. So he plotted a graph between potential difference and current, taking potential in the y-axis and current in the x-axis. And what he found out that there was a straight line following the equation y is equal to mx plus c, with c being 0 here. So he concluded that there is a linear relationship between potential and current. So he wrote it like V is directly proportional to I. And when we remove this proportionality sign, we got a constant. And we call this constant as resistance. And in honor of Sir George Simon Ohm, we gave the SI unit as Ohm. What is this resistance? What does it mean? It's basically an obstruction or the resistance to the flow of electrons inside a conductor. So you can clearly see, if we rearrange this equation, you can clearly see that in both the equation, resistance is inversely proportional to the current. So if we double the resistance, the current decreases. If we half the resistance, the current doubles. So it's like in a circuit, if we want keeping the voltage source constant, if we want to change the current, we can change this resistance, and according to it, the current will also change. Then again, when we got this term called as resistance, later on experiments were done to see on what factors this resistance depends. What are the factors ruling this resistance? So again, for after experiments, we came into conclusion that resistance depends on the length. For example, if we have a conductor with a length L, which has resistance R, and again we have a conductor whose length will double 2L, then the resistance was becoming 2R. Again when we take a conductor whose cross sectional area is A and resistance is R, and again we take a conductor whose cross sectional area becomes 2A without changing the length, then the resistance was becoming R by 2. So we came into conclusion that the R depends on the length and the area. Again, when we took different wires, there were different resistance for each and every wire. So it also depends on the nature of material. And also yes, it also depends on the temperature of that wire. Okay. So from this, we came to know that R is directly proportional to L. Yeah, I have written it. R is directly proportional to L. R is inversely proportional to A. So combining the equation is like R is directly proportional to L upon A. If we remove this proportionality sign, we have to appoint a constant. So here comes the constant, which we call it as rho. So we got the equation is equal to R is equal to rho length upon area. What does this rho determine, or what does this rho say? Rho determines a term called as resistivity. It's basically a constant of proportion in this equation. It varies with the material, nature of the material, and it varies with the temperature. So it's different for different material. Like for insulators, the resistivity is very high. The resistivity lies in the range of 10 to the power 8 to 10 to the power 12. But in case of conductors, the resistivity is very low. It's in the range of 10 to the power minus 8 to 10 to the power minus 10. And that's why resistivity is very low in conductor, and that's why conductivity is very much in conductors. Conductivity is nothing but it's is equal to 1 upon resistivity. Simple. So till now, what did we see? We saw the Ohm's law. What does it states? That potential directly proportional to the current. And after removing the proportionality sign, we got a constant R. And so finally the equation was V is equal to IR. And we then again saw that on what factors did R depend. R depends on resistivity, R depends on the length of the conductor, R again depends on the cross-sectional area of the conductors. So using these quantities, we can form various questions, and we can by varying the area, we can vary the resistance. By varying the resistance, we can vary the current. Let's see an example. Let's see one question. For example, there was a wire of length 12 and cross-sectional area A with resistance R. What did we do? We double folded on itself. Now the wire has become like this. Then what's the question? What's the new resistance? As we all know, resistance is equal to R is equal to rho L upon A. So we haven't changed the nature of the material, the rho is constant. Let's see about the L and A. As you can see, comparing the initial and final, the total cross-sectional area here has doubled. So A nu is equal to 2A, and the length has halved. The length nu is equal to L. So R dash will be equal to length, R is equal to rho L upon A. So R dash will be, L has become half, so I will multiply half here. Area has become twice, so I'll double it. So into original R. So what did I get? What do I get? R dash is equal to R by 4. Okay. Let's come to the answer which of the question which I have asked in the beginning. I told you that in our daily life the drift velocity is very small, 1 millimeter per second, but still the bulb turns on instantaneously after we on the switch. And how is this possible? Let's see the explanation. It's a conductor with atoms and this outer shell connect. So what happens really is there are millions or trillions of atoms inside the conductor. It is not like that when you switch on the when you switch on, this electron has to travel all this long from the source till the bulb. There are millions of electrons in the way. It's like a chain reaction. When we complete the circuit or we close the switch, this electron starts moving. It stimulates this one. It go on vibrating. It stimulates this one. It's like a chain reaction. So as we on the switch, this chain reaction goes on, and instantaneously the current reaches the source, and that's why the bulb turns on quickly as we on the switch. Thank you.